Hey guys, normally creepy stuff doesn't happen to me, despite living in weird New Jersey, but I guess I can't really say that anymore, considering I've had the worst week of my life. In a way, I brought all of this upon myself, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Since I've lurked the exports for so long, it's only fair I tell you guys what happened. My birthday was about a week ago. I just turned 18 and decided to mess around and look for ghosts. I would have hung out with friends, but I wasn't in the mood to be a third wheel. I shoved my phone and a flashlight in the pockets of my hoodie and snuck out the back door. I didn't expect to find much, or I would have brought a proper weapon. I guess it's sort of dumb to think about it in retrospect. I remember glancing at the clock. It was around 11 or 12 at night when I left. It was pretty dark because there was a new moon, and I figured I'd see something cool. Now, I wasn't just walking through the forest and herpa-derping. There's a pretty sketchy cemetery about a 10-minute walk from my house that has been around for about 2 centuries. It's also a spot that practices a green burial, where the body is placed in a biodegradable casket and buried in the earth. Well, my uncle owns the plot of land the cemetery is built on, and being the cheap, shady son of a gun he is, he uses the same casket for each burial, and most bodies end up somewhere else. I figured there must have been a ghost ticked off about having such a crappy resting place, just roaming around the cemetery at night. I thought about pointing to where my uncle lives so they could haunt him, just for the hell of it. It probably doesn't work that way, but I wasn't expecting to find something anyway. I finally made my way there, and when I was about to go through the gate to the cemetery, I saw some humanoid gray-colored thing in the nature trail next to the cemetery. Yes, I kid you not. My uncle thought it was a great idea to put a nature trail next to the cemetery. At that point, I was a little nervous because I couldn't think of anybody other than me who would be crazy enough to go to this place at night. There wasn't even a car around, so whoever it was must have walked there just like I did. I shouted out to this guy, thinking it was just some stoner or a fellow ghost hunter. They didn't utter a word, but I could hear a sick, wheezing sound. I thought maybe they needed help or they were out of breath from running away from something. So I took a deep breath and walked down the trail. I whipped out my flashlight to light up whoever was down there, only to stop dead in my tracks. Whatever the hell this thing was, it was armless and had no clothes on. Basically, I noped the hell out of there, ran the whole way home, and locked every door in my house. My mom was pretty ticked off that I snuck out and figured I was on a bad trip when I told her about the naked, no-armed thing stalking by the cemetery. I didn't blame her, but I wish she had believed me, or at least humored me, so I could carry around one of those Rambo knives she likes to collect. I was still pretty shaken up. This freak of nature had to know where I lived because I didn't run that fast. I tried to rationalize it, and I remembered that I didn't see the thing behind me, and I didn't hear that horrible wheezing sound on my way home, so I thought I shouldn't worry about it. A couple of days later, everything was back to normal, until I saw it again. My front door was open so my dog could enter and exit the house as she pleased. Her name was Piggy. She's an indoor dog, but she is house-trained, so she will go outside when she needs to use the bathroom. Dogs always seem to have a place where they like to do their business, and her spot was smack dab in the middle of the field in front of my house. Piggy ran outside, and a minute or so later, I heard her barking non-stop. I was a little confused because she never really barks, so I figured there must have been a stray cat around or something. So I got up to see the situation. That damn thing was standing in the middle of the field, fixated on my dog. It had a toothy grin on its face, and the little teeth it had in its mouth looked as if they were about to rot out. It was completely hairless and gray all over, with impossibly small eyes. I started screaming, making any kind of noise necessary to distract it from eating my beloved Piggy, who during all of this was frozen in her tracks, and its eyes started up to meet mine. We had this staring contest for what seemed like hours, but I'm sure it was only a few minutes. It broke the gaze and, I kid you not, began peeing on my dog. Its pee was not yellow, it was a disgusting green that coated my dog's fur, and it was vicious, like snot. It had this horrid smell, similar to that of sulfur. I had no clue what it was, but it was on my dog, and it couldn't have been a good thing. At that point, I grabbed a kitchen knife and started running at the bastard. When it saw me, it stopped peeing and ran away. I would have pursued it, but I had to check on Piggy. I was thankful it didn't eat my dog, but peeing on her wasn't a great alternative. I put on my rubber gloves and grabbed the lilac doggy shampoo to hose her down. Piggy doesn't like baths, but I'm sure she was happy to get that stuff off her. I went to bed a few hours later, but not before locking all the doors. I didn't know what to do about it that night, so I decided not to take any more chances with that thing and just go to sleep. Usually, Piggy sleeps with me, but that night, I never felt her climb next to me, and the one time I woke up, it seemed as if she was staring into the distance. I woke up and my mom was crying, telling me something was wrong with Piggy. She was wheezing, and I instantly remembered that no-armed mother trucker peeing on her the other day, but I shook it from my memory when I checked on my dog. I remember she had this sad look in her eyes, and she wouldn't drink any water or even eat meat. I was scared, so I sped to the vet, who had her stay overnight. Apparently, she contracted pneumonia, and I realized how dangerous that was. About $1,100 in vet bills later, I drove Piggy home the next day in a horrible thunderstorm. I pulled up to my driveway, and what do you know, that bastard was standing right in the middle of it. It was staring at me like a deer caught in the headlights, and I knew this was my chance. I wasn't going to mess around this time. I floored my car right at it, and I saw its eyes widen to 2 full circles. The next thing I knew, it jumped on my car, got down, and sprinted off into the woods. I missed it. The one shot I had to kill it, and I blew it. I haven't slept for the last couple of days. All I can think about is that freak. I've never heard of something like this before, and it doesn't seem as dumb as I thought it was. I know it's planning its next move, and I'm scared as to what this thing could do to me or my family. I really don't know what to do, X. I've gotten only 10 hours of sleep this week, and I know I can't keep it up much longer. I'm scared to close my eyes. I fear that as soon as I do, it'll be back, but in my room doing God knows what. Does anyone have any experience with a creature like this? I can't stay awake forever. Andrew woke up with a start. He knew what had happened, and his heart sank. The sound of the glass shattering downstairs had done the same to his nerves. It had come in. After weeks of watching and stalking him, the beast had finally decided to break in the patio doors. Made completely of glass, provided it with a perfect entrance. Andrew lay there in bed, illuminated only by the small amount of clear light that the moon provided through the space between the curtains. He listened for the creature to see if it was inside, secretly praying that everything would be silent. The terrifying sound of glass cracking under its feet confirmed his worst fear. It had finally made its way into his home. With this crushing realization, Andrew grabbed his titanium baseball bat and crept downstairs, deeper into the darkness. He was determined to confront this thing once and for all, though secretly hoping it would run away when it saw him, as it normally did. Andrew stood at the bottom of the stairs, listening. At first, all he heard was the crackling of glass. Then, for the first time, he heard the beast. It was breathing heavily, as if its throat was blocked by phlegm. The hideous beast snarled and clicked, gradually getting closer to Andrew. Now, out of the kitchen, the beast finally managed to pass the glass shards. Stepping into the living room, it walked almost silently now, strangely more agile than it looked, especially considering how clumsily it ran away. Andrew stood at the bottom of the stairs, shaking. He heard the beast getting ever closer, with the sickening sound of distorted breathing amplified by the almost pitch darkness. Now it was closer than ever. He had one chance to kill it, and he wasn't going to waste it. The beast stepped on the first step of the stairs, and Andrew was hiding in the dark corner to the left. He gathered all his strength and hit the creature in the chest with the bat at full force. The beast staggered back, stopping as it looked at Andrew. Its tiny eyes seemed to stare right into his soul. He grasped his weapon tighter and froze. He knew he needed to attack it, but he just couldn't. He was too terrified to move. Andrew had seen his inhuman stalker before, but it looked even more horrible up close. Its teeth, its eyes, its skin. Human, but not quite. Even if it didn't have arms, this creature was the embodiment of terror to him. The monster let out a gurgling hiss, exposing all of its misshapen teeth. It then kicked Andrew in the gut, causing him to fall to the ground. Out of breath, Andrew rolled over and got to the wall behind him. The beast just watched until Andrew leaned against the wall, at which point the thing approached the young man and stared at him as if it were judging him, laying there, helpless. The beast stepped on his shin, breaking the bone. Tears began to flow from Andrew's eyes. The pain was so intense it almost made him nauseous. Now incapacitated, Andrew had nowhere to go and no way to fight. The beast placed his foot on the young man's stomach, pressing down, ripping into his flesh with its long, dirty toenails. With the beast's foot now completely inside his stomach, Andrew started to cough blood. Tears ran down his face. He passed out from the pain and then passed away. The beast loomed over what was by now Andrew's bloody corpse. The beast descended its face toward Andrew's and then tore a piece of flesh from his shin, dislocating one side of his jaw. The beast continued to tear and eviscerate Andrew's corpse until everything the creature could stomach had been devoured. Then it left, calmly, silently, with a pure and deep hatred in its heart. The beast exited the same way it came in, through the broken patio doors.